Good morning, children. Today we are going to learn a new concept, that is electromagnetic induction. Till now we understood what is electromagnetism. Like whenever current is passed through a conductor, it produces its own magnetic field. This was discovered by Oersted in 1820. Okay, so he said that whenever current is passing through a conductor, it will produce its own magnetic field around it. Okay, so when a current can produce a magnetic field, why not the reverse effect takes place? So this was the thought for Michael Faraday in 1825. With this thought, he did lot of experiments, thinking that when a current carrying conductor produces magnetic field, then definitely a magnetic field produces current. So he has done lot of experiments on this for almost 6 years. He was not succeeded. Then one day, out of frustration, out of desperation, he just threw the magnet. Like, he has done lot of experiments with the magnets and coils. Okay, so he just threw the magnet down, and this magnet, when it was passing through a coil made of conducting wire, and is connected to a simple device called as galvanometer, he observed a change, a deflection in the galvanometer. With that, he thought that, okay, when the magnet is dropped down through this coil, so there was some effect is taking place in the coil. Because of that, the galvanometer is deflecting. Galvanometer is a device which is used to check the presence of current in the circuit, which is used to measure the amount of current and also check the presence of current in the circuit. It is the circuit symbol of galvanometer is like this. It's just like ammeter and voltmeter, but we have a galvanometer like this, G. Okay, it has a needle at its center. When it is not in use, the needle will be in the center. Okay, so whenever current passes through the circuit in which the galvanometer is connected like this, then the needle gets deflected towards one side. For example, if current is passing like this, then this needle gets deflected towards that side. If the current is going in the opposite direction like this, then there will be a change in the direction of deflection of the galvanometer like this. So with the deflections in the galvanometer, we will come to know the presence of current in the circuit and also in which direction current is passing through it. And also we can find out how much current is passing through it, because it has a scale here. Okay, on that scale we can see what is the amount of current from its, like initially it will be in the rest position like this in the middle. So how many lines it is crossed this side or that side, based on that we can say the degree of deflection tells the amount of current passing through the circuit. So this is very simple and very sensitive device which can even detect a minute currents passing through the circuit. Okay, so to check that minute current which can be produced with the help of magnetic field, that was the thought of Michael Faraday in 1825. So in 1831 he succeeded. He observed that there is a small deflection in the galvanometer when he dropped the magnet down, and which was passing through the coil, a conducting wire. So with that, again he arranged his experimental setup and started doing lot of experiments by these three simple devices. One is a magnet, second is galvanometer, and third is a coil, a copper coil. Okay, so what he did initially, here he wrapped this wire around this insulating material. Take any cardboard or any piece of a paper or something like any insulating material on which the wire is wound this way. Okay, and the ends of the wire are connected to the galvanometer to check the presence of current in the coil. Generally, galvanometer shows deflection whenever current is passing through the coil. Current will pass through the coil whenever we connect a battery in the circuit. Yes or no? So if we connect the battery in the circuit, then when you close the plug, then the current starts flowing through the wire. As a result, galvanometer can show the deflection. But here in this particular case, we are not connecting any battery. We are not passing the current here too. But the current will be developed automatically in this coil. Okay, that was the thought of Michael Faraday, because when the current is able to produce the magnetic field, then definitely a magnetic field can produce current, the reverse effect. So with that, he took the magnetic field and a coil to check the presence of current. So when he kept the bar magnet with its north and south poles like this close to this coil, he did not observe anything. There was no deflection in the galvanometer. And then he tried to bring the bar magnet close to the coil. He moved the bar magnet with its north pole from that side to close to the coil. Then he observed a deflection in the galvanometer. A deflection in the galvanometer like this side. That means to say the current starts flowing through the conductor this way. The current started flowing through the wire in this way. Okay, so when he moved the magnet away from the coil, again he observed a deflection in the galvanometer, but now in the opposite direction. Previously the current was flowing in the coil like this way, anti-clockwise direction, whereas here now when he moved the magnet away from the coil, he observed a reversal in the deflection, indicating that there is a current which is flowing in the reverse direction. Okay, and he did varieties of combinations, like initially he took the north pole and moved the magnet close to the coil, and he observed the deflection in one side. When he moved that magnet with its north pole away from it, he observed the deflection in opposite direction. Again he changed the poles of this bar magnet. Now he moved the south pole close to the bar magnet and he moved it towards the coil with the south pole. Then he observed the current in this direction. When he moved this magnet with its south pole away from the coil, he observed again a change in the deflection of the galvanometer, indicating that. And also he observed initially that when the magnet is placed constant, either close to this or inside the coil. If you have the coil like this and if you put the magnet inside the coil and kept constant, then he did not observe any change in the there is no change in the position of the needle in the galvanometer, indicating there is no deflection. That means to say, from this experiment he observed that whenever there is a movement in the bar magnet, then only a current is produced in the coil. If the magnet is constant, there is no current produced in the coil. This was the first observation. And second observation here is, when the magnet is brought close to the coil, the current is induced in one particular direction. When it is moved away from the coil, current which is produced in the coil taking a reverse direction. That was the other observation. And third observation here is, what he did now, he kept the magnet constant and moved the coil. Okay, initially we kept the coil constant and moved the magnet. Now the magnet is constant and coil is moved close to the magnet and away from the magnet. Again he observed the same kind of effect. So he thought, what could be the reason Why is this happening? Whenever we are moving, there is a relative motion between the coil and the magnet. Then only the galvanometer is showing the deflection. Okay, so this relative motion between the coil and the magnet is doing something. As a result, the current is produced in the coil, and because of that the galvanometer is showing some deflection. Okay, so here what he observed, so this relative motion which is bringing a change or which is producing current in the coil in such a way that the direction of current which is induced in the sense here the current is produced in the coil, it is not produced because of the battery which we connected there, which we are supposed to connect, but here it is produced due to the movement of the magnet or movement of the coil. So there are two ways of inducing current in the coil. One is by moving magnet or by moving coil. By any of these two, by producing a relative motion between these two, we can produce the current in the coil. So this phenomenon is called as electromagnetic induction. That is called as electromagnetic induction. So what is electromagnetic induction? Before understanding that, let us understand more about how this moving magnet or moving coil is able to produce the current in the circuit. Producing current in the sense here, moving the charges inside the coil. Yes, the charges start flowing, then only we say that current is flowing through the circuit. So here how these charges are accelerated. Okay, this is definitely because of the effect of moving magnet. How this moving magnet is producing that effect which can move the charges here. So to understand that, we need to understand one word, that is magnetic flux. Magnetic flux. What is magnetic flux? Magnetic flux is represented with the letter phi. Phi, we call it as phi. Okay, magnetic flux. What is magnetic flux? See this figure very carefully. I have taken a bar magnet and there is a coil which is connected to the galvanometer like this. Okay, when you are bringing the magnet like this close to the coil, we know the magnetic field lines always emerge out from the north pole. They always emerge out from the north pole. So when they are coming like this, when you move the magnet close to this coil, more and more field lines will pass through the coil, the area of the coil. Coil is like this. So through that area, the more number of field lines are passing. If you move the magnet away, if you move it away, then less number of field lines cross this closed loop, through this closed loop. So magnetic flux refers to the number of field lines crossing an area. This loop is covering certain area. So through that area, how many field lines are crossing? That number is called as magnetic flux. And definitely magnetic flux through the coil will be more when you move the magnet close to it. And this magnetic flux through the coil will be less when you move the magnet away, because the field lines which are linked to this coil are changing. Okay, so this changing magnetic flux, whenever you are moving in and out, there will be a change in the magnetic flux linked with the coil. So this change in magnetic flux is producing current in the coil, because this induces an EMF, electromotive force, which is also, we generally call it as potential difference. So due to that potential difference, what is happening here? The charges start flowing. As a result, current is flowing through the coil and the galvanometer is showing the deflection. So electromagnetic induction is the phenomenon in which a current is produced in a coil by changing magnetic flux linked with the coil. So we have, let us write the definition here. The phenomenon of producing a current in the coil by changing magnetic flux, linked with the coil. This is called as electromagnetic induction. Is this clear, children? What is electromagnetic induction? Electromagnetic induction is the phenomenon of producing current in a coil by changing magnetic flux linked with this coil. So this is also called as self-induction. We have two types of inductions, self-induction, and the second one is called mutual induction. Self-induction and mutual induction. Self-induction is nothing but producing the current in one coil by changing the magnetic flux linked with that particular coil only. So magnetic flux of that coil is changed. As a result, current is induced in that coil. That is called as self-induction. Whereas coming to the mutual induction, in this case, we need mutual is nothing but two. So there should be two coils. Like we can produce even the current by taking two coils which kept close to each other. One coil is like this, which is connected to the battery through a plug key or through a rheostat. Even you can connect a rheostat in the circuit. You can produce, you can connect a rheostat, plug key and battery in the circuit, and we have a common platform here, okay, where I will connect one more coil, and this is connected to the galvanometer to check whether any current is induced in the secondary coil or not. So this is the coil 1 and this is coil 2, and both are wound on the same core here. This coil 1 is called primary coil, and coil 2 is called secondary coil. So here in this way also we can induce current in the secondary coil here, because here if you see we are not connecting any battery in the circuit, and this coil is not connected to this coil also, but they both are on placed on the insulating material. There will be an insulating material in between, okay. So here whenever plug is closed and when the current starts flowing suddenly through the coil, in the primary coil, there will be a sudden flow in the primary coil that will develop a magnetic field. There is a sudden rise in the magnetic field. According to Oersted experiment, we know that whenever current is passing through the coil, it produces its own magnetic field. So this coil will behave like a magnet, okay. So when you switched on or switched off the circuit, during that time, what will happen? There is a sudden rise in magnetic field or sudden drop in the magnetic field. So there is a sudden change in the magnetic field. This change in magnetic field induces current in the secondary coil. This phenomenon is called as mutual induction. So instead of on and off, even if you put rheostat, whenever you change the slider of the rheostat, when you move it, there will be a change in the amount of current passing through it. And we know that whenever the amount of current passing through a coil is changed, then there will be a change in the strength of the magnetic field. So due to the strength of the magnetic field which is changing, will produce current in the secondary coil, because here the magnetic flux will definitely change, which is linked with this secondary coil. As a result, the current will be induced in this. So with this experiment, we came to know that we can produce current by the magnetic field. So this is very, very important. So we learned about three different types of inducing current in a coil. One is by moving the magnet in and out close to this coil, we can produce the current in the coil. Second, moving coil. By moving keep the magnet constant and move the coil close to the magnet, away from the magnet, close to the magnet, away from the magnet. Even in this case, the magnetic flux linked with the coil changes. As a result, the current will be induced in the coil. That is the second. And third method here is mutual induction. Like, we will take a coil which is connected to the battery. There is a supply of current in the primary coil which can be changed with the help of a rheostat. And because of the changing current, there will be a changing magnetic field. The changing magnetic field linked with the coil changes. As a result, current is produced in the secondary coil. So this is called as mutual induction. So these are the three ways to produce current in a coil by the phenomenon called as electromagnetic induction. So this was given by the Faraday. Okay, so he kept all his observations in his laws called as Faraday's laws of induction. Faraday's laws of induction. That is, Faraday's law. So there are two laws. One is, the first law says that whenever this current is induced, it induced in such a way that it opposes the change in the magnetic flux. It opposes the change in the magnetic flux, so that there is no change in the current. So here, the current which is developed in the circuit is directly proportional to the minus d phi by dt. This d phi by dt says that change in magnetic flux with respect to time. And this minus sign indicates that the change is always opposed by the current. For example, in the previous case, what I said here, when you have taken the north pole and south pole of the bar magnet, and when you try to move this bar magnet towards the coil like this, I said current will be generated in this particular direction. Why only in this particular direction? Why not in the reverse direction? So when you are bringing the magnet close to this, the magnetic flux linked with the coil is changing, because here the magnetic flux which is linked with the coil is definitely changing. Now this coil will oppose that change. To oppose that change, to oppose the movement of the north pole towards this coil, then this coil has to develop a north pole here. It has to develop a north pole here. So what this coil will do here? It develops a north pole in this coil, okay, where we have an anti-clockwise direction. The current will pass through the coil in a anti-clockwise direction, so that face of the coil will be north pole, and that north pole will repel this north pole, so that there won't be any change. So that was the first law of Faraday. He said that the EMF which is developed, EMF is generally represented with the letter E, electromotive force, which is also generally known as potential difference, which in turn produces current. So the EMF which is developed or which is induced in the coil is in such a way that it opposes the change in magnetic flux. So that's why it is proportional to minus d phi by dt. Proportionality says that more the change in magnetic flux, more will be the EMF generated and more will be the current in the circuit. but this negative sign says that it is always opposing the change. Clear? This is called as Faraday's law. Actually, Faraday's laws are not there in the syllabus, but to make you understand, I just explained how the field will be developed and in which direction current is passing through it. So this is about electromagnetic induction. Thank you, children.